I also just did some biking and cruising around. If you look closely at the videos of me biking, you'll see that I'm missing something. Can you guess what I really should have brought to Korea that I forgot? Well, if you guessed it's a helmet, you're correct. I really should have brought a bike helmet, but here we are. You guys should always be biking with a bike helmet. Yeah. So one thing about my trip is I thought it was going to be colder in Seoul for my visit because usually it's winter around this time. And so I left my nice folding bike at home and I don't have a bike. And there were some really nice days and I really wanted to go biking, but they have these really bad bikes, these like just the worst bikes that you can imagine, and you can rent them for as little as $1 or $2, $5 for the whole day. And I know it's possible to rent one of these bikes and ride to the top of the mountain, even though these bikes are like 24 kilograms. They're so heavy. And I was like, okay, well, I know a couple of really tough guys that have ridden those bikes to the top. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to ride one of these bikes to the top of the mountains. There's these two mountains. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to ride these bikes to the top of these two mountains. And I didn't tell any of my Korean friends because I was so afraid I'd fail and I didn't want them to see me fail. So I rented these bikes, I packed up, and I did both mountains. And it was so hard, but you should see, all these Korean people thought I was crazy for trying to take a city bike to the top of the mountain, but the top of both mountains. And there was this one part where there were these cyclists who were worried about me, and they actually rode beside me to make sure I was safe from the cars. And then there's this other thing. Well, I got to show you in just one sec. Okay, so there's this one part where there's on the mountain where there's a part where there's the road where there's cars coming like this, and what you have to do is you have to keep biking. And the problem is the hill is so steep. And so before I went up Bugak, I stopped and I was talking to these cyclists that were like, we want to be your friend. I'm like, great, I want to be your friend too. And so we stopped and we talked, and I had to like make them this drawing to be like, hey, like it's really dangerous here. And they're like, ah, which is kind of how Koreans say yes. They're like, ah, like that. And so we were biking, and of course they're faster than me because they're on real bikes, and I'm on like a city bike. And so I'm biking up the hill, and I get to the part, and I'm like, oh, this is the worst part of my day. And my cycling friends blocked off a chunk of the road so that I could get through on my super slow bike. So yeah, it was a really good day. And then afterwards, I burned so many calories. I was so hungry. I ate cooked meats, I ate dessert, and then I ate actually a second dinner. I had to have 2 dinners because I was so hungry that night from cycling. So, yeah. So one cool twist of luck is I have this friend named Bill, and he always rides Mount Bugak. And I've seen him on there so many times. And fortunately, I was riding and he was there, and we were able to get a picture together at the top and meet all the other nice cyclists that I met. And he videotaped me riding down the mountain.